Well, politicians, economists, and business leaders always talk about the economy in terms of growth, stock markets, GDP, and unemployment rates. But if you want to know how ordinary people are actually experiencing the economy, there's a much simpler question to ask. Are workers feeling secure enough to fill up their gas tanks, buy a home, save money, and plan for the future? Right now, the answer appears to be no. New inflation data released this week showed consumer prices rising at a 4.2% annual rate, the highest level seen in roughly 3 years. Much of that increase has been driven by higher energy costs tied to the ongoing conflict involving Iran, with gas prices and transportation costs pushing household budgets further into the red. For working families whose wages were already struggling to keep pace with housing, healthcare, and childcare costs, another round of inflation feels less like an economic statistic and more like another pay cut. Despite rising inflation, Trump recently remarked Wednesday that he loves the inflation, a statement that is likely to sound very different to workers watching their budgets shrink.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that be a
No, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran, until right now. We took out the other night 22 ships, late at night with no lights, because they don't have any radar, because we blasted the crap out of it.
Inflation to come down between now
when the war's over?
Yes.
It's coming down.
I know you can't.
It's going to come down like a rock.
That's right. A sitting president remarkably said, "I love the inflation." And hands up if you really think this Iran situation will be over anytime soon. At the same time, Americans are becoming increasingly pessimistic about their own financial situations. Recent survey data from the New York Federal Reserve found household financial worries at their highest level since 2022. More people report being worse off financially than they were a year ago, and expectations about future finances are becoming more negative as well. And that anxiety isn't just showing up in surveys, it's showing up in how people spend money. Retailers across the country report that consumers are making small but telling adjustments to their daily lives. Some drivers are leaving gas stations without completely filling their tanks. Families are cutting back on discretionary purchases. Shoppers are delaying furniture purchases, making fewer trips to clothing stores, and searching more aggressively for discounts in value-oriented retailers. People are still spending, but they're spending differently because they're trying to stretch every dollar further. Taken individually, these decisions might seem insignificant, but collectively, they paint a picture of a workforce that feels economically vulnerable. When workers begin rationing gas, postponing purchases, and abandoning non-essential spending, they're signaling that financial stability is becoming harder to maintain. And that helps explain another striking finding from a recent CNBC survey. A growing share of Americans believe the traditional American dream is slipping out of reach. Home ownership, financial security, retirement savings, and upward mobility increasingly feel unattainable to many workers, especially younger generations who entered adulthood facing student debt, rising housing costs, and recurring periods of economic instability. The problem isn't simply that people want more. It's that many feel they're working hard without getting any closer to the economic milestones previous generations were told to expect. And this is where labor issues become impossible to separate from broader economic discussions. Inflation matters, interest rates matter, energy prices matter, but for workers, the central question is whether wages, benefits, and job security are keeping pace with the cost of living. If productivity rises while housing becomes less affordable, if workers continue producing wealth while feeling less secure every year, then headline economic growth starts to look increasingly disconnected from everyday reality. The story developing right now isn't just about inflation, however. It's about confidence. Confidence that a paycheck can cover basic needs. Confidence that hard work leads to stability. Confidence that the future will be better than the present. And when that confidence begins to erode, workers don't need an economist to tell them something is wrong. They already know it every time they check their bank account, pull up to a gas pump, or wonder whether the life they were promised is still achievable. In other words, workers aren't losing confidence because of headlines. They're losing confidence because of lived experience.